friends and family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, bienvenidos, my name is Joanna. Being that the Mid-Autumn Festival is just around the corner, I thought I'd share with you guys how I learned how to make mooncakes for my mother-in-law. Now, mooncakes originated in China, but they are enjoyed throughout many parts of Asia, and there are so many different variations. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys just one version using a sweet mung bean paste. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, these definitely are a labor of love and they do take some time, but I'm going to be walking you guys through the process, so I'll be leaving all of the ingredients, measurements, as well as substitutions down in the description box. But before I continue rambling off, let's get started.
I'm going to place some split mung beans into a container before filling it to the top with some water. Cover and allow to rest overnight so the mung beans can soften. The morning after, drain the mung beans and wash them well under running water. Drain well, and let's take these over to the stove. Over medium flame, I'm going to use a small pot to place the washed mung beans in. Then I'm going to add some water and a bit of sugar. A bit of salt. We want it to simmer uncovered for 30 minutes, making sure to stir it occasionally. After 30 minutes, turn off the stove and cover the pot and allow the mung beans to steam for an additional 30 minutes. After steaming, the mung beans will be cooked through and ready to process into a smooth paste. To a blender, add the mung beans along with the water that they were cooked in, cover and blend until smooth. Then using a sieve, I'm going to strain the mung bean puree into a saucepan, making sure to break up any large pieces I may come across with a spatula. Keep at this until most of the puree has been passed through the sieve like shown. I'm going to add a bit of coconut oil to this mixture along with some glutinous rice flour, making sure to stir the mung bean mixture well so the ingredients incorporate nicely together. Now here's where the cooking workout really begins. Over medium flame, we need to continuously stir the mung bean mixture for about 30 to 40 minutes. Yes, I know it's a lot of work, but I did say this is going to be a labor of love. You'll notice that the mung bean mixture will begin to thicken up and take on more of a paste-like appearance. Keep stirring until the mung bean paste has become the consistency of Play-Doh. One way to check if it's ready is to take a small piece in your hand, and if you can roll it into a ball and it keeps its shape, it's ready. Now keep this wrapped in plastic so it doesn't dry. You can actually prepare this mung bean paste filling in advance before making the mooncakes. If you do this, just keep it wrapped well and refrigerated until it's ready to use. To a mixing bowl, I'm going to add some flour and a tiny bit of baking soda. Then using a whisk, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients well before making a well in the center of the flour mixture. Mooncake dough usually consists of golden syrup, but you can use any dark syrup of your choice. I like using coconut sugar syrup because I find it gives the dough a subtle but pleasant brown sugar-like flavor without being overly sweet. I'm going to add some water as well as some coconut oil before mixing it well until it begins to form a dough. Then I like using my hands to knead it briefly and shape it into a nice smooth dough ball before wrapping it in plastic to rest for 30 minutes. The size of the mold you'll be using will determine your mooncake's dough to filling ratio. The rule of thumb is that the filling should equal twice the amount of dough. For example, a 75-gram mooncake mold would have 50 grams of filling and 25 grams of dough. So in my case, I'll be using a 50-gram mooncake mold, so I'll need just about 33 grams of filling and about 17 grams of dough. Since I'm not too good at eyeballing measurements, I'm going to use a kitchen scale to help me out. I'm going to take a piece of the dough and measure it out until I have about 17 grams, making sure to keep each measured piece covered in plastic as I work on measuring out the rest of the remaining dough. Once I have all the dough measured out, I'm going to leave it covered while I measure out the filling next. Like mentioned earlier, I'm going to need to measure out a total of 33 grams for the filling. To some of the mung bean paste, I'm actually going to add some shredded coconut, making sure to mix it well into the paste. In our home, this is actually our favorite mooncake filling combination, but you can add all kinds of other things. Regardless what fillings you add to the mung bean paste, just be sure to measure it out the same way we did before. Again, for me, I just have to make sure that my fillings weigh out to about 33 grams before rolling them up and placing them under plastic wrap. Another really common mooncake filling combination is to add cooked salted duck egg yolks to the mung bean paste so that they are at the center of the mooncakes. To add these, I'm going to take some of the rounded mung bean paste and make an indentation in the center before placing the salted duck egg yolks inside. Then carefully wrap the mung bean paste around the egg yolk and using my hands to roll them into a ball. And again, here I am making sure that they weigh about 33 grams. To shape the mooncakes, I'm going to take some of the measured dough balls and begin flattening out into a flat circle with my fingers, making sure that the edges are thinner than the center. Then I'm going to take one of the rounded mooncake fillings from earlier and place it in the center of the flattened dough. Then I'm going to carefully flip the dough and the filling over onto my opposite hand while maneuvering the dough over the filling by applying gentle pressure so I can try to wrap the dough all the way around the filling in order to seal it off. I know this is where it may seem like mission impossible, but trust me, it's doable with some patience. And there you go! Once you've sealed the dough around the filling, you can then smooth it out into a round ball. Set this aside under plastic wrap and continue to repeat this process for the remaining dough and filling pieces. Once you have all the fillings wrapped in dough, it's time to give the mooncakes a design. I'm going to make sure I lightly coat my mooncake mold in flour and dust any excess off. The flour is going to prevent the dough from sticking to the mold. Then taking one of the mooncake pieces, I'm going to gently shape it so it can fit into the mold. Then on a lightly floured surface, I'm going to hold the mold down firmly while pressing downward on the handle. Before releasing the mooncake from its mold, I'm going to take a toothpick that's been dusted in flour and poke a few holes into the bottom of the mooncake. This will help the air escape as they bake so they don't swell and lose their shape. Once I've done this little mooncake is ready to go on a lined baking sheet while I work on the rest. Since I have different fillings, I'll use different designs so I know what fillings are in each of them. You don't actually have to use a mooncake mold, you can also use a cookie cutter to shape the mooncakes. I'm using a small cookie cutter in the shape of a teddy bear to form the mooncake by gently pressing it into the mold. Then using a toothpick lightly dusted in flour, I'm going to make some shallow indentions to shape the face of the teddy bear. I'm not really artistically inclined, so that's the best I can do, but I think it looks kind of cute. I'm just going to place this little guy on a lined baking sheet like I did with the others. I'm going to pop these little cuties into the oven and bake them at 350 degrees for 12 minutes. After baking, allow them to cool completely. This is really important because we don't want them to swell and crack later on. In the meantime, to a small mixing bowl, add an egg, some water, some coconut oil. Whisk this together and then lightly apply this egg wash to the cooled mooncakes. Careful not to overfill the design indentions with the egg wash so they remain intact when they bake. Then place these back in the oven to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes or until the cakes have turned a nice pretty golden color. Once you remove them from the oven, allow these to cool overnight so that the oils can redistribute into the dough. I know it's really tempting to enjoy them right away, but I promise they taste even better the next morning. So leave them covered and allow them to rest at room temperature. The next morning, the mooncakes are ready to be enjoyed and are not only beautiful and pleasing to the eyes, they're also a delicious treat without being overly sweet and taste amazing when paired with tea. The rounded shape of the mooncakes along with the egg yolks represent the full moon during the Mid-Autumn Festival. These definitely do take some time to make, but they are wonderful as gift exchanges between family and friends. This is just one variation of the many mooncakes available, but I hope it inspires you to give them a try.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe to join our wonderful Fusion family. And for video notifications, don't forget to click the little bell icon that looks something like this. And I'll see you guys next time. Suerte!
It's like my third one, I think.
But you gotta leave some for gifts, okay?
For myself. Got it.
I'm gonna eat the bear. Bite the ear off. Banh Trung? I can't even pronounce it. I'm not even gonna try. Always describing the recipe that I get stuck at.